Hey everybody, how you doing? Uncle Vinny here. You know what's coming up? That's right, Health Chat. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
We stand at the edge of this new year.
These 365 days in front of us.
And instead of letting them blow by us, we look each of them in the eye.
And one by one,
We live them with intention.
365 days of sheer purpose.
each lived like it's the only day we've got.
What if I live every day like no other day is owed to me?
I'd reach out to my dad, make things right before it's too late.
On my sister's birthday this year, I'd call instead of text.
I would wake up in the morning and I would ask God what He wants me to do.
I'd take those vacation days I still haven't used.
Instead of inviting her to coffee, I'd invite her to church.
Make myself get up early so I can watch cartoons with my kids.
I'd give myself a break.
I would take her to that park she's been wanting to go to, the one that's all the way across town.
I'd say I love you, and I'd say it every day.
On Thanksgiving, my table would be open to the whole neighborhood.
Mother's Day would mean more than a $5 card.
I'd let God have all the stuff weighing me down.
I'd have more courage because I'd have nothing to lose.
I would take Jesus seriously when He asked us to feed the hungry.
Serve the very least of these.
Look after the sick.
I'd be quicker to forgive because He forgave me.
Living every moment with intention.
Taking every purpose by the horns.
Leaving nothing unsaid.
Leaving nobody behind.
Making every minute count.
I would use every hour I had on this earth.
To love God.
To love others.
One intentional day at a time.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. This is my daughter, Ryan Miller. She's a marriage and family therapist. I'm a chiropractic orthopedist. Hopefully you had an awesome Christmas. You got everything that you asked Santa for. Did you write a letter to Santa Claus?
Actually, I did.
Did you really?
Yes.
Did you get what you wanted? Me either. Did you go sit on Santa Claus' lap?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay. I haven't sat on Santa Claus' lap in a long time because these Santa Clauses around here, they're bogus. They're not real. I saw and I bet and I sat on the real Santa Claus's lap. You're going like, yeah, okay, whatever. Listen, did you not see Miracle on 34th Street?
Yes.
Okay. Did they not prove who the real Santa Claus was in Miracle on 34th Street? It's the Santa Claus at Macy's. Every year I would go to Macy's in New York.
I wish we had that picture to show.
Oh, that would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
I sent it to my mom, and she thought that was the funniest thing. Wasn't that cute?
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
You're really cute.
I wasn't screaming or anything like
I
that. It was like,
bless.
oh, I was 27 years old when I took that picture. So, well, we've gotten past Christmas.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to slide into the new year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're not sliding into nothing. We're running to it.
Yeah.
22 has been a crazy year for me. Has it been a crazy year for you?
It's been different.
It's everybody goes normal. There is no more normal.
Yeah.
There is no more normal. We have crazy chaos and more crazy chaos. The whole world's fallen apart. I mean, at the seams. But it's kind of how do I put this? I know it's scary. I know it's crazy, but it just in our Judeo-Christian beliefs, we believe that the end is near, kind of thing. But that's not a bad thing. I know where I'm going, and I know that where friends are going, and I know people that may not understand the way we do. They'll, the more we talk about it, the more we be who we are, they're going to see that maybe I want some of that. I want to be like that. I want to be like those people. What does it take? And those are the questions, and those are the testimonies I have. I'll tell you what, I'll be the first one to say it. Christians eat their young. They do. That's right. They seem to be the worst, not all the time, but that are the most critical, the most hostile, the most opinionated, the most argumentative, and yet they show the least amount of love. Not every Christian, please don't think that, but when you come upon that, it's kind of a turnoff. It's like, why are you judging me? I love you. I love people where they are.
Yeah.
I may not agree with what you're doing. I may not like what you're doing, but I'm going to love you where you are. And, the beginning of the year to me, it's like spring. It's a new start. It's a new beginning. It's something where we can look and say, hey, what can I change today that's going to affect me 20 years down the road. I'm going to be really transparent. I've been practicing 30 years. I'm making a conscious effort to practice differently because 30 years of practicing, there needs to be a change. Times are changing, things are changing, but there are certain things that have to stay the same. We were talking about this today where, a lot of times we're going to go like, well, maybe I won't see as many of this patient that has this insurance or that patient that doesn't have that insurance. And I think I mentioned this before, that I felt the Holy Spirit just went, bam, smack me in the top of the head and go, listen, I give you everything you have. Who are you to take away from what I give you? I thought, oh, okay. So if I believe and I surrender to God to supply my needs, then I have to surrender to his will. And surrendering to his will is really hard. What does that really have to do with like New Year's? Everybody talks about, oh, well, I have my New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose 475 pounds by January 31st. It's not going to happen. But if you want to lose weight, what's it going to take? We did that show on the why. When are you going to start was what we were going to talk about. And how are you going to start? That's what anything that we get into. If I want to lose weight, what's the first thing I have to do? Figure out, number one, how am I going to lose that weight? What program am I going to do to lose that weight? And what program or what am I going to do that's going to be sustaining? Because unfortunately, we make New Year's resolutions in January, February, like right around Valentine's Day, we stop. It's like, okay, we're done. More people sign up for gym memberships in January and quit in February. And they still have to pay that whole year. How about buying that treadmill? Have you ever seen somebody buy a treadmill?
No.
Have you ever seen a treadmill in somebody's house?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's it doing?
Sitting there, collecting dust.
And laundry.
Yeah.
They hang laundry on it. Nona bought one. And I was like, Mom, why are you buying that? I'm going to use it. Mom, you're not going to use it. It's going to sit in your bedroom and it's going to have clothes on it. Sure enough, it's got clothes on it.
Towel rack.
Exactly. Oh, these towels
The
are
cat angels on there climbing around.
I heard a guy, a comedian one time say, he had an exercise bike in his bedroom and it had 4 miles on it. And he said his 2-year-old son put 3 of those 4 miles on it by just turning the pedal.
Yes.
It's like, what are we going to do? Now, as a therapist, you've learned these things and you've thought about these things. What is a way that somebody can literally make a change in their life? Let's not call it a resolution. Let's call it like life changing. Okay. So what can they do to change their life for the better long term?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Sure is. And you're live.
Yeah, yay. Well, I think it's just being consistent and just thinking about one day at a time and making sure that that's continuing to reach that goal. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. But I want to quit as soon as I start.
Right.
No. I'm being real. This is a real show, guys. This is us being us. We're not going to turn around and we're not going to tell you something that we don't deal with or we don't struggle with because it doesn't make any sense. And we don't script anything. We talk about it. We say this is what we're going to talk about. Hit the camera, go, and there we are. We try to make it look nice. Put the little scenes behind us, turn the lights on, make sure that the picture's right, make sure the sound's right. But it's live, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to screw up. And I'm not going to curse. I can't curse. I can't do that.
Oh my gosh.
I want to get that shirt though. I love Jesus, but I cuss sometimes. But I just.
Oh my gosh. He does not cuss.
You don't know.
True.
But it's like we have this. We lose fortitude. We really do when it comes to things that we want to do. Now, if we want to sit and binge watch, Netflix, we're right there. Mm-hmm. But if we want to go out and fix the deck, I'm still fighting that deck. We find excuses for that stuff. How do we stop making excuses?
Well, like you said earlier, the why, figuring out what is the why, right? What is your why? How many times do they say that in those workout programs that we do?
Yeah, it's what is your why?
Yeah.
And what do I want to do? Like, I know what my why is, and I will tell you something. This is, again, transparent. I've been doing the Optavia program, okay? And, you know, when you talk about, like, backsliding, I didn't backslide at all. Not me. I did a backflip off the mountain and during the holidays. But what happened was I realized something. And if you're out there and you're dealing and struggling with your weight, you're struggling with, hey, diet and exercising, I've been doing that. I was a smoker. Okay. I was one of those smokers that people would go, oh, you need to quit.
Really?
Yes. I mean, I smoked a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like I would bum a cigarette when I ran out of my pack, and I quit smoking. Oh, golly, I was 20 something. I started smoking because my friends started smoking when we were teenagers.
Oh, no.
You know, we're smoking, and, you know, we're smoking cigarettes and tried other things. But anyway,
Oh, no.
yeah, of course. It's like I come from that era,
Yeah.
you know. And my uncle said to me, Uncle Frankie says, you can't quit.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, yes, I can. I can quit. I can quit anytime. He goes, no, you can't. You're a wuss. Like, I'm a what? I'm a wuss? It was like that show, McFly, chicken. I was
Yeah.
like, I can do it. I can quit smoking right now. And he goes, okay, quit. I go, after this pack. So if you've never smoked, you won't understand that. But if you smoked and you've quit, you've said the same thing. Let me finish this pack, because back then they weren't $62 a pack. They're expensive now. I don't know what they are now, but I remember when they went to $1, people go, I'm going to quit if it goes to $1. You know, now it's like $6, $7, $8 a pack. I don't know. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he said that, and I said, he goes, no, you need to quit right now. And I went, okay. And I squeezed, I never forget. It was a pack of Marlboro 100s. I squeezed the pack and threw it out the window. I was littering at the same time.
Uh-oh.
And I threw it out the window, and he said, you got to quit for a month. And it was hard for a month.
Yeah.
But I, as the month went on, it was like, how do I continue not to do this? Because I started feeling a little bit better. What do I need to do? So I said, okay, I'm going to join the gym. So I joined the gym. I went with my friends. We all started quit around the same time. The thing is, I inflict a lot of pain associated with going back to smoking. I mean, a lot of pain. Like, if I go back to smoking now, you might as well see me in the street, you know, no shoes on, just hanging out smoking. And my life is totally different than it is right now, because I've allowed myself to hit rock bottom, and I will not allow myself to do that. So that's the pain that I associate with smoking. I will tell you this. And if you're trying to quit smoking, if you're trying to change a habit, if you're trying to do something, it's going to be super hard. You have to really, really watch and think and get in your head those neural pathways we talked about. You start making new neural pathways. You have to do that. Let the grass grow in the old ones and keep moving on. But I will tell you this, it happened today, which was really kind of crazy. I went and I picked up some Chinese food because I wanted to bring it home. Actually, Japanese food for Mom, and I just had a hankering for it.
Yeah.
Went and picked it up, and as I'm walking out, there's a guy smoking a cigarette. Not vaping, smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, oh, that's a Marlboro.
Really?
Oh, man, I can go for that right now.
Really?
Yes, it is that addictive
Wow.
that you cannot get away from it.
Wow.
It is that, I mean, there are times when I smell it and go, oh, that's disgusting. But there are times when it's like, oh, wow.
Really?
Well, let's fast forward to now, when I, you know, did a backflip off the cliff. I'm putting everything in my mouth.
Yeah.
Anything that begins with an F, it's in my mouth. You know, food, it's just or shoveling it.
Yeah.
I'm eating cake, I'm eating cookies, I'm eating chips, I'm eating it all. What happens is I don't feel good. Like, not that I don't feel good in my stomach, I don't feel good in my brain. It messes with my brain chemistry. Sugar or things that turn to sugar mess with my brain chemistry to the point where I'm lethargic. I can't think straight. I can't focus. So when I'm thinking about, like, I'm to the point now where I'm going, I don't want to be like that anymore. I am 60 years old. What's going to happen if I continue down this road? What's it going to do to my brain? And how am I going to be 10 years from now? Am I going to start forgetting things? Food is fuel. It is. So the fuel that we put in our bodies, if it's garbage, we're going to get garbage results. We have to look and be mindful of what we're putting in our bodies. We talked about Optavia earlier. They part of their program is a package program. Okay, packaged food, and people have this big thing about I'm not eating packaged food. Seriously, everything we eat is packaged. I thought about that. I opened so many packages this weekend to cook. It was ridiculous. Like you open it. Like I bought some. We made some rotel and some velvet. Open in packages. Stuff's bad for you. So I have to get in my mind. I have to watch what I eat, and I have to be mindful of what's going into my body. But more importantly, it's the pain associated with what I'm doing. And I think that's where your New Year's or your life-changing things have to occur, has to be at that moment, is making that lifestyle change.
Yeah.
You know, you deal with some things too. You're like me. You love to eat. I mean, come on. I mean, you know, we want to shove stuff in the mouth, but we want to also. It's what are we going to do 10 years from now? If we don't start today, and we wait 10 years, we've already lost the 10 years. That's a hard thing to deal with. Is loss of time. You can't make up time. You know, people go, "Oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead." That's not good. You know, have you heard that? I'm too busy. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah,
that's not good. You need to fuel. You need to rest. You need to hydrate. These are things that you need to do. And if you're struggling with something, I would definitely start thinking about food. And I think that's where we're going to start with ours. Forget the prayer part because we're going to already do that. But thinking about where we're going to go from here and with our life-changing stuff in 2023. Because, you know, 2020 messed us up. 2021, we're crazy town. 2022, we're like trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
2023, you know what? Throw this in the rearview mirror, like you said. You know, I got to keep going forward.
Yeah.
Have you been feeling that way? I mean, you're a mom of 2 boys.
Yeah.
You
We're
know?
super busy.
You think? You slept 3 hours Christmas Day at the house because your body just said it's shut down.
I got the best gift.
It's just like,
I got to nap for 3 hours on Christmas. It was so beautiful.
was it nice? I mean, there was drool on the couch when you guys left. You know?
Yeah.
But what are you looking forward to seeing different in 2023?
Well, like what you're saying, and this is not scripted, but for me, it is a mindset for me for the new year. And I said it, and you were, you know, being very cheeky with me, living life simply. Yeah, for me, trying to live life simply. So what that means to me is just not overdoing things, not overthinking things. If I want to do something, I should do it. You know, not making it a bigger ordeal than what it has to be. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. It's
because it stresses me. I stress myself out.
You think you stress out? You get your daddy stress is what happens. That's the problem. Yeah. You know, I'm calm, cool, collected to certain things, but for the most part, I literally kind of, you know, running a practice is extremely difficult. You know, especially in today's environment. It's crazy town. I mean, I feel like I'm back when I first started. You know, you're trying to finance through things, and I don't foresee retiring. I love what I do. Like, it's going to look different, but I'm not going to retire. I love treating people, and when I talk to some of my patients, they go, "You're not retiring, right?" No. Yeah, I mean, that makes me feel good. It feels like I'm doing something, and you know, it's like my job is more of my ministry. Like I had a patient today. And this is kind of funny, and I was thinking about this as we were talking, and we've talked about this before. My job is not necessarily adjusting your back. My job is finding out who you are, what's making you tick, and what's causing you problems.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people have low back problems that are related to trauma. And I'm not talking about trauma from a car accident, trauma from a fall. I'm talking about emotional trauma.
Yes.
And people don't realize how the body reacts to that emotional trauma. And I think that once we realize what that emotional trauma is, and we figure a way to manage that emotional trauma and then eventually take it away, it makes a big difference. You know, I think one of the biggest things is, it's going to sound very sexist when I say this, but women deal with more of I got daddy issue kind of things. They do. And it's because of non-forgiveness. For me, I dealt with daddy issues. You know, we've talked about that before. I mean, to the point where I didn't want to be him, so I try everything not to be him with you. and I'm glad, and I'm not, and I never was like him.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting is that I forgave. I mean, he might be watching right now, Danielle. We don't know that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I've forgiven him. You know, it's not something, because if I don't forgive, I'm the one that's holding that in,
Mm-hmm.
not them, not the person that that did you wrong. Once you let that out, it's up to them, and then you could start healing yourself. How many times do you get clients coming in and it's hard for them to say I'm sorry or I forgive them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's just human nature, right? Nobody wants to be hurt. And if you hurt me, you feel like revenge. I want to hurt you back. So why would I forgive you? Because that feels like I'm letting that go. But it really is more healthy to let that go.
How many times does your mom and I have an issue? And I could be a jerk. I was actually a jerk over the holidays, right before the holidays. Something was in me. I don't know what triggered it. I don't know what got
the holiday.
Yeah, it could be. But I don't know what kind of added to that was causing some issues. But I know what it did was that I had to say I was sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, I'm sorry I was a jerk. I'm sorry I was an idiot. Well, you know what? That helps heal our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if that would accumulate all of that trauma over time, and you know what? I can be very crass, and I know I can. I have to fight that. You know, you were talking about, well, he doesn't curse. Well, I don't curse because if I started, I continually curse. You guys would be hearing it left and right you'd have to put me on Rumble right away because YouTube would just get rid of me because I was saying so many bad words. But and you know, we have friends that listen in, and they definitely have this whole thing about, oh, you know, I know how he was. But, you know, I'm talking a lot about me because what I deal with, I know they deal with. And people that come into your office deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important that they know what you do and how you can benefit them in their road to changing their life and getting to a better place. People don't realize the need for therapists. I'm not going to therapists. I'm not crazy. Nah, has nothing to do with that. I mean, it's true, though. It's like, I'm not going to do that. There are couples that are getting divorced right now because neither one of them or one of them wants to go to counseling, the other one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did you know, as a counselor, marriage and family, but you work with kids and you work with adults and, you know, not just marriage and family, but how much, on a percentage, 0 to 100, how much of a percentage of a marriage is bad before they become divorced? I actually read this.
Oh gosh, I remember it's a small percentage, right? Like 18%.
Close, 20%.
Okay.
So 80% of your marriage is awesome. That 20%, I'm out of here. But think about that. Is that how we deal with life?
Mm-hmm.
80% of our life is awesome. That 20% is garbage, and we dwell on that garbage part.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just human nature. How do we flip that? How do we make that change? When do you see somebody go, I got it, and you see the change? When do you see that light bulb come on?
It just depends on what the session is, what we're talking about. But yeah, there usually is a stance, like a posture. Yeah.
Have you ever had a client, and I've had patients this way, so I'm asking you, have you ever had a client, you walk in and you sit down and they're like this?
Yeah.
And then yes and no answers.
Yeah.
They get nothing out of you. And then all of a sudden, after 2 or 3 sessions or 2 or 3 visits, they're like, I got to talk to you. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
It's that comfort, but that posture. And I mean, I see people like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's that, you watch their hands, see what they're doing, and watch their face.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. Like, I noticed you do it too. I mean, I've not been in the room with you, but I know you do this. When you're talking with someone, you're not writing things down. You wait until they're done.
I may make some notes.
Right. But
especially after having 2 kids. I have baby brain, and I do apologize to those who I'm talking to. And I'll, you know, I try to use humor, but if I need to make a few notes.
But for the most part, you're not writing something down.
Yeah.
I am getting to a point now in my practice where I may have to start bringing a computer into the room, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel it's a veil that comes between me and the patients.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're getting to that point. We're losing that communication skill. I think people are starting to lose that. I think the pandemic just kicked us into this crazy, like inwardly close,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are starting to self-medicate. We're finding that out. It's like the worst thing that happened was you stuck people in a room by themselves, working by a computer, not having interactions. I can't function that way. I would go crazy.
You would go crazy.
I would go crazy. I would be like, I would be smoking in the street, walking down. I would be a nut job. I need this contact. I need this, and this is, I love this.
Mm-hmm.
We're interacting in a way, and pretty soon we're going to be, we'll talk more about that, but we're going to start seeing comments coming back to us. We're going to stream this onto your Facebook page, my Facebook page. We're going to stream it up to LinkedIn, and we're trying to get more people engaged in what we're doing. So if you like us, share it, because we have too much fun doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I do. And what's been really good about it is I get to bring you in with me.
No,
and that's
so sweet.
Well, no, that's the truth. I mean, I love you hanging out.
I learned from you as well.
Yeah, we have to teach. It's like we need to do something different. So what can we give the listeners and the watchers, like some advice on how to go into 2023? What should they be looking for? What should they be thinking about? Should we just keep it simple?
It's really up to them.
Well, I agree, but sometimes we're over the top. We think over the top. We're like I said earlier, we're going to lose 475 pounds by January 31st. How do we keep it realistic? How do we keep that realistic? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't.
I always put you on the spot. I love it. I love it.
Well, it's hard for me because how I'm trained and how I think. When you see a therapist, counselor, social worker, whoever in that profession, I'm not here to tell you what your problems are. You're coming to tell me what you want to work on. So for you get to identify a presenting problem. Like that's you as a physician. But as a therapist, that's not my job. Like I'm not here to label and say, this is your problem, this should be your resolution, this is what we're going to do.
But don't people expect that when they come see you?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, it was like, Grandpa, my dad, your grandfather, he would go to the doctor's office and the doctor would say, Mr. Krause, how are we doing today? What can we do for you? He goes, you're the doctor, you tell me. I'm like, I was like, okay, I don't know what's bothering you.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not psychics. But I would always think when you go to the counselor, that's what you would do. And I've been there before, and I guess I expected them to tell me what to do. And
it depends on who you saw. But for me.
But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's what I wanted,
yeah.
But that didn't happen.
But there are some people, I guess, that are a little bit more directive. But
I mean, there's got to be instances where you are directive with certain things. I mean, you got to stop this. This is detrimental. This is damaging. This is going to hurt you. You need to do this instead of this. I guess you would have to be in that situation.
If it was life-threatening, like for suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, those type of things, then yes, I want to make sure that you are safe and those around you are safe.
If you got a dictionary, I don't know what that is. Let's look it up.
I'm sorry. If you're wanting to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, yeah, that's where I'm going to step in and I'm not going to be aggressive about it, but I'm going to be serious and figure out, okay, how can we help you the best? Because my number one thing, my priority with my patients or clients, however you want to say it, is that I want to make sure that they're safe and they're living their best life. So when you're talking about resolutions, I don't really know, so they're not making such a lofty goal is to figure out what works for them. Because you have people that are activators like you, and they have big goals and they have big dreams, and it's great to chase after them. And then you have other people who maybe don't have as much self-confidence, and our goal is just to give them one goal for the year, and it may be a really small goal compared to someone else. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love that you see me that way. When I say I'm going to do something, that's my job. I do it. But there are times when I have to personally step back and go, what can I improve one thing? And then maybe improve this thing. I'm not like that. I'm a global thinker.
Yeah.
Like chaotic office, messy paperwork, all that stuff, I'm really good at making sure it gets done, but I'm terrible at doing it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
But you've heard me say this before, work on your strengths, manage your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Don't dwell on the negativity, because you get nothing done if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And take chances. This is 2023. Take a chance. Do something that you didn't want to do. Hey, you want to learn how to knit, and you're a 6'5", 280-pound football player? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just do it. It's funny. Rosie Greer was a big football player, and he used to needlepoint. The guy was huge, and it was kind of funny because you see this big strapping guy that plays football doing needlepoint because it relaxed him.
Yeah. There was an Olympic swimmer, right?
Yeah.
Was he a swimmer?
I'm not sure, but
I just remember there being someone within the Olympics.
They took their mind off of it. They stepped away from it. It's we could talk for hours. When we were doing talk radio, I would say, hey, let's do 2 hours. But I've talked a lot today. But what we want to do is we want to get people to understand that, yes, I'm talking, but I want you to be thinking. We want you to think, like, if you're having issues, what's important is you deal with those issues. And if you can't deal with them, you need to see somebody like Ryan. She's the person that you need to see. Don't have a stigma about, going to a therapist, because let me tell you something. Not because you're my daughter, but I have a deep place in my heart for therapists, because it helped me when I was going through my stages and changing and becoming who I wanted to be. And, I fight through that. If something is holding you back, if you're not sure what it is, look at it. Kind of dissect your life. Mine, it's the food. It messes with me, messes with my brain chemistry. I don't want to, it makes me lethargic. I want to sit down and watch Starsky and Hutch like all seasons, all 572 episodes. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I have to make that change. And I think following the pandemic, that made it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have not did full hours at my office because of that. We're seeing the patients and everything else, but that's not healthy. I need to be working those hours because I need to be helping those people. And I know that sounds really crazy, but I literally felt the Holy Spirit say, you need to work these hours. I'm like, okay. I don't want to, people are probably looking and going, what's he talking about? Something you have to understand. That when you feel like the Holy Spirit says something to you, you need to do it. How many times, if some people may not believe in the way we believe, but there are times when you're sitting there and you hear this voice in your head going, you need to really get that done. So what are you thinking about come 2023? What is being impressed on your heart to do? Where do you want to start with that? And if you need help with starting with that, give us a call. What's your number?
423-451-6898.
If you have any issues musculoskeletal-wise, I am a chiropractic orthopedist. We deal with every joint in the body. If there's something I can't deal with, I make sure you get to the right place. I know that you do too. If there's something you can't deal with, you make sure that they can see the people that they need to see, the therapists they need to see, the medical doctor they need to see, anybody to help them out. Well, guys, it's a quick show today. It's been good. I had fun. I know I talked a lot. I'm sorry.
No.
But we're gonna, every week we're going to try to do the show around Tuesday. You can start typing in the chats pretty soon, and we'll be able to answer some of those questions. So if you see Danielle bending down, she's a lot quicker typist than me. I type like this. The show will be over by the time I answer you. We're having fun. If you have any questions, give me a call at the office, 423-855-7376. If you want to just go, hey, leave a message on our Facebook or our LinkedIn and say, I want you to talk about this, because just because we're in one profession or the other doesn't mean we don't have the experience to work out other professions or have an idea of where you can go to help you out. So it's been great, guys. New Year's is coming up. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. We love you. God bless. And we'll see you next week.